8th grade. Happy Monday. So today we are going to do, for math, we are going to do lesson 102, which is absolute value inequalities. So I'm going to show you first, let's first review what an absolute value is. Remember that absolute value is the distance or the number of units a number is from 0 on the number line. So the absolute value is represented with these two parallel lines. So the absolute value of 3 is 3 because it is 3 units from 0 on the number line. But the absolute value of -3 is also 3 because it is still only 3 units from 0 on the number line. Okay, so now that we've refreshed our memory on that, we are going to learn how to graph these today. We're going to learn how to graph inequalities that include absolute value. So, so this first problem we have, it says graph the absolute value of x if it is greater than 2. So I know that there are multiple things that could be inside of this absolute value sign, right? But I know that everything that is included in that is going to be greater than 2. Okay, so I'm going to first put my first dot on this +2 because I know that +2 could be in there, but it's not equal to +2. So remember, it's greater than but not equal to, because if it was equal to, there would be that line underneath. So we're going to shade this way because I know that all of these numbers could make that statement true, right? The absolute value of 3 would be greater than 2, right? So that would make that statement true. The absolute value of 5 would be 5, which is greater than 2. So all of those things would make that statement true. Okay, but that's not it. We're not quite finished, right? Let's also look at if this was the absolute value of -3. So if we had -3 is greater than 2, well, the absolute value of -3 is +3. So I know that that would make that statement true, correct? So I am going to also shade everything this direction. Remember, if there was a line underneath it, then my circle would be filled in, but it is not. So I'm going to shade everything this side with an open circle, right? Because -5 would also make this statement true, right? Anything further past -2 on the number line would also make this statement true. -5, the absolute value of -5 would be 5, which is greater than 2, okay? All right, let's look at another one. This time we are graphing x. The absolute value of x is less than or equal to 3, okay? So think about everything that is less than 3, okay? So we're going to be shading this direction this time, but this time it is equal to, so we're going to fill in that circle on the -3. So it's less than or equal to 3. Okay, this time we know it's going to be shading this way because it is less than 3. But think about if this was a -3. Okay, -3, the absolute value of -3 would also be 3. So I'm going to put another circle on that, okay? And it needs to be filled in because it's still equal to, okay? Now, let's look at if I put in something from further down this number line. Some of these are just trial and error. You kind of just have to fill them in, plug it in place of x to see if it would work. So let's try the absolute value of -5 is less than or equal to 3. The absolute value of -5 would be 5. 5 is not less than or equal to 3. So we know we're not going to be shading anything further past this 3, okay? I do need to shade in between because all of these numbers would be included, right? So let's try the absolute value of -1, okay? Is -1, the absolute value of -1 would be +1, and that statement would be true. 1 is less than or equal to 3, right? So that we're gonna shade everything between, okay? Now let's look at one more example. It says graph the absolute value of x, which is less than -4, okay? So I want you to think about this right now. This is going to be an empty set because there is nothing that we can plug in for x here to give us less than -4, because anything that's on the inside of this absolute value sign, it's going to be the positive form, right? So let's try -55. I'm just going to plug that in, okay? The absolute value of -55 would be +55, right? So 55, that's not going to be true, right? Because 55 is not less than -4. So there is nothing that would make this statement true. So this is an empty set, and we would not graph anything on this line. I'm going to link a video for you to watch just in case you need it. You may not. And then I would like for you to do on page 433 and 434 in your textbooks, you're going to do numbers 7 through 16, okay? When you finish that, snap a picture and send it over to me so that way I know that you are on the right track. Feel free to call me or text me if you have any questions, or if you're confused. I look forward to hearing from you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.